I guess so. So welcome to the LifePoint podcast. I am Matt Clark, the family pastor here, and this is my lovely wife.
Yeah, Stephanie Clark.
That's right. And so we do the Building Strong Families ministry here, and we kind of want to talk about just briefly, like, how did Building Strong Families even get started in the first place, and then go from there. So Building Strong Families we were at another church. We were not actually in ministry. We were just volunteering, and they had an event for parents, and it was a
supposed family event, if I remember.
Yeah, it was like this family event that they were kind of doing, and it was actually parents and teenagers. And
it kind of seemed like they were trying to do a mini church or something.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was not great. We'll say that.
Yeah.
And so we approached them and said, "Hey, that wasn't great."
We actually did.
Yeah, we kind of just said, "Hey, that wasn't great," but
we have ideas,
and they were like, "Yeah, we don't, we're just kind of testing." So we decided to go to the organization and say, "Hey, we would love to. We have some ideas."
Yeah,
and so they were open. They were like, "Well, we were just kind of testing things out. We don't know what to do." And so.
Because at that particular church, they took like the summer off of youth group. Like they gave their youth volunteers time off.
Right.
So they still needed to have something on Saturday nights.
For the teens of some sort,
right.
But they were trying to figure out, can we do something different? So basically we presented this idea, and we had different names for it, what it was going to be called, and landed on Building Strong Families.
Right.
A shared family experience. And so then we presented that to them, and they were like, "Yeah, we love it." And then they gave us.
Well, we got our own sound techs, and they gave us babysitters and
all the child care that was built into it.
Right.
And it was right after big, services there. And then we ended up.
They gave us 6 weeks. They said, "Here, take these 6 weeks and fill them."
Yeah. I was trying to remember what. Okay. You're going to have to edit that out, Phil.
And they gave us 6 weeks, and we tried it out. Yeah. And then they gave it to us the next summer, and so we just kept building.
Yeah.
And then...
And they didn't just give it to us. They were like, here's a staff of people. There was childcare. There was sound and tech, and there was a lot that was in it. Right. And had a good sized crowd, upwards of 215 at times there. So it was pretty fun. So that's how it kind of started.
It started there, and then once you became the family pastor here, that was part of your vision when we came to LifePoint. You said, this is the ministry I'm headed into. This is my focus. This is my heart.
Yeah.
I believe that our families have been siloed for so many years at church. We walk in the door, and we walk in the main door, and then we all head down different hallways, which is fine for some teaching. I mean, there are times that a 3-year-old needs to be in Mrs. Clark's class, or, that's just how it is. But there's also, we need to provide opportunities for the 3-year-old to play with mom and dad and play with other mom and dads, and or play with other teenagers, or just, getting that joy of being together. That church can be something experiential and fun, beyond just
age-appropriate learning at times, but the ability to see mom and dad do silly stuff, laugh at mom and dad, mom and dad see their kid interact with other kids, and of different age groups.
And what's great for us is that we sometimes know the kids, or maybe we know the parents, depending on where we're working or volunteering. And then when we see them all together, and you're like, oh, I see where that kid gets that competitive spirit.
Right.
Or you go, oh, I see where that child
where their intelligence comes from, where their silliness comes from.
Yeah, where they're thinking, you're like, oh, that's mom. I see, that's mom. That one's dad. Yeah.
Introverts and extroverts, you're like, there's the parents. No, that's pretty interesting to see. So that's the idea behind Building Strong Families, is this it's basically a shared family experience, a shared faith experience with your family, but it's a shared family experience.
And it's
where all ages
very important for us that there's a meal, and because you're sitting around the table and conversing. It's a time that we force families to have no technology. There's no TV or video games. No.
Put your cell phone away.
Right. Children aren't sitting with iPads. Nothing like that. So, and it's noisy, and sometimes the kids are up and running around, or maybe there's crying. But it is real. It's real in there.
I think that's where this village tribe mentality of everyone kind of helping
and they do.
Each other.
That's the great thing. If you watch Building Strong Families, if you're sitting in the room, you'll see maybe a child get up and walk around, or needs a little something to keep them busy, and you will see other people step up, or maybe bring another kid over and they can play. So
yeah.
Or the teenagers slowly get up and move towards each other.
Right. Yeah. It's a magnet. Like,
exactly.
I want to get away from mom and dad.
Yeah.
Which is normal.
Yes.
But what we've done, like you said, for over 50 years, we've siloed the entire family, and children went there, and teens went there, and parents went there, and then the pastor was their parents' pastor.
Yes.
And so now we have kids who are like, he's also, not just me, but Phil as well, because he's involved in family ministry stuff at times. Right. So it's like, he's my pastor, my older brother's pastor, and my parents.
Right, and we are hoping that translates into kids as they graduate high school and become young adults, that they stay in the church because they see the pastors as theirs, not just their mom and dad's pastor, that they go into that room and that person speaks to them, but they're not my pastor. I didn't choose it. But with having our family ministry, then you're saying, no, the pastor is for everyone. I am your pastor also.
Right. Well, and then that only builds connectivity, relational connectivity amongst the entire body, which we can talk a little bit about family camp and those connections of those teenagers that we were saying a little bit. But it adds to that, so that when they graduate, because what we see and part of some of the things that conferences I went to was sticky faith, and is this idea that teenagers, they once they graduate, they kind of graduate from their faith, and so we want to be able to prevent that and put things in place that's a little bit more sticky with the family and in building relationships.
If they're connected to more people at the church, and it might even be younger people, because at any of our events, some of the older teens might connect to youngers or things like that. So they they're looking at people going, I need to be a guide or a help to someone behind me,
or they just love hanging out with them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
so. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about in 2023 season, and then we'll move on to some things about family camp. Yeah, because that was kind of what one of the really big things about building strong families. Yeah. So our 2023 season is we kind of usually theme it or put a title to it, so that every year, this year it's 4 sessions. And so it's balance, and what a healthy balance in your life looks like. And of course, we made some definitions, balance being making wise choices to avoid chaos. That was the original idea. So we talked about balance in March, and then we're this Saturday, May 20th, we're going to talk about boundaries, and that is placing healthy guardrails for better living. And so we want to talk about sometimes in our life, the idea is that we get too close to the edge. We fall, we do so many things, or we're involved in so much, or we allow distractions in our life. We allow all these things to invade our space that we feel like we're going to fall off the edge because it's pushing us.
There are a lot of great things to say yes to. Right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of great things to say yes to, but we also need to understand the power of no.
Yeah.
Or actually, sometimes it's just no. we're not doing that, right? But sometimes as a family, you just decide not at this time.
Right.
Or not at this age. Like, what a 3-year-old is involved in versus what a 13-year-old is involved in are different.
Right.
And you need to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old, very different paths, very different activity level. So that's okay. Yeah. The whole family doesn't have to be on every single thing.
Right. No. Yeah. So we're going to talk about boundaries, and then we're going to talk about purpose and perseverance. So the 4 topics were balance, boundaries, purpose, and perseverance. And basically those boundaries, having purpose, and having perseverance, climbing through the hard stuff allows for balance.
Right,
so that's where all 3 of those kind of point towards balance.
So boundaries this Saturday, and of course that will be the last family night where we do the whole dinner and games and stuff together until September. So we really want to encourage people to come this Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because our next event is actually in June, and that's the tubing event. So that won't be a family night.
So family camp.
Oh, yeah.
So family camp, let's see, first of all, I guess, why family camp?
Well, for us, we had this, we enjoyed camping, right? You and I enjoyed camping, and we took Bailey camping, and it was great experience, but of course, we're a family of with an only child.
Right.
So it was great, but it would have been more fun with other families.
Yeah. As you add people to the and we have done other smaller camping things with like our past youth group
our
kids,
students,
students who invited us.
Well, and I think that shone a light on the fact that you're like, wait a minute, this is kind of great, just hanging out and being away from things and just learning from each other.
Right. Yeah. And well, quite honestly, it's about putting down the tech. It's
about putting down everything. It's about putting down the routine at home. That schedule, the practice or games or the TV or video games, anything like that.
Right. So that's what we get to do at family camp is. In the first year, we just I
think it was like 5 families.
Yeah, it felt like 15 people or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we went up to like 25, and then the third year was 59, and then this year was like 71, 73. I can't remember exactly the numbers because every once in a while we'll have, like we talk about, we want others who aren't, if you're single or you don't have kids, whether you never had kids or your kids are gone, you're empty nesters.
Right. Your grandkids don't live around here.
Yeah. To kind of be involved in building Shrunk Families ministry as a whole. And so we do have some people that will come to family camp and show up and just kind of hang out for the day, just to kind of,
just to be a part of it. They're so excited about it that they just want to be around it. They just want to be around it.
And so we some of the numbers are like, we have certain people that camp and then a few that will show up and just be there. So family camp is a really great time to get away and shut off the other things, both physically and mentally, so that you're prepared. I think the advantages and the beauty of family camp, and we've said this from the stage, is because we get this whole place to ourselves,
right?
And so we've got this whole property. Originally, it was like we were at a actual campsite, and we had to finagle, like in the middle of the road. We had to go, okay, we're going to get campsite 3, 4, and 5, and then 17, 18, and 19. Okay, we got it. We're close together.
We still had cars driving through
and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, okay, it's kind of like when you were kids.
Clear the street.
Yeah, clear the street. Stop playing kickball. And so now we have a group campsite that's all to ourselves. So the advantage is now kids can kind of just meander in that area, and we place things out there for them to do. And some of it's just as simple as chalk.
Chalk's the number one
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, the artwork that comes out of this is pretty cool.
I just wait for the summer sales at Walmart, and I buy all the chalk.
We're buying
for
chalk.
the next camp.
We're getting chalk. Somebody buys chalk.
Yeah.
And so the beauty of having everyone just at times, because there's a full schedule, but there are moments of just play.
Yeah.
And you're witnessing these children, drawing on the sidewalk. But then a teenager come over and sit with the second grader,
right? And
they're doing art together,
right?
And they're hanging out.
Well, I love when I would look out and you would see like different games happening. Like there was a kickball game going, but then there were some people who weren't playing kickball, and so they're over here sitting around the fire, and just you see not necessarily. I mean, the whole family is there, but it might not be dad with their own kid. It might be dad with someone else's kid, because this kid prefers to play kickball, but their kid just wants to hang out and play chalk or kick a ball around or something. And so everyone was kind of comfortable with sharing. We share. You and I go without a child because ours is an adult now, and we really enjoy getting to hang out with the kids of all ages.
Yeah. No, that's the beauty of witnessing. And again, that's one of the things I think why family camp works as well is what we're trying to instill in building strong families as a whole is you need other adults in your kids' lives. And the most beautiful way that is experienced sometimes is that week or that weekend of family camp.
Oh, the strongest connections are made at camp.
Yeah. Because
we are there, we're all eating together, we're all fighting rain together, where we had to put up tents, and we all heard whoever was crying that night, but not in a bad way.
No.
It's just that because we've all been parents, either grown or
it's probably less about that kid is crying, and more about like, how can I go help?
Yeah.
Like,
what do we need to do? Yes.
Because we remember those poor parents, they're probably like, shh, be quiet, you're going to wake everyone up. And it's like, no, it's okay.
Don't worry about
it. You're
it.
okay, because that's what family is about.
That is family.
And so it's a messy, and it's,
you have accidents and things like that, and you have people that come around and like, how can we help? What do we need to do?
Right.
And it's great.
Sometimes injuries.
Yes, injuries happen.
Bunks on the heads.
We are human.
And all that kind of stuff. And probably a few cuts here and there. And,
So I want to just share that when we came back from camp. So camp was a great experience. And we all come off of that high. And then you want to see the lingering effects of it, right? Because you and I, that's what we watch for. Like, how are we seeing building strong families be a success? And for us, it's not the numbers, although the numbers mean more people are.
Right.
Well,
they're experiencing it.
Right.
And there's now, you don't know who's going to be your next best friend either.
Exactly.
Right?
That's very
you
true.
Meet people out in public and you're like, remember when we first met?
Yes.
It was, like this, and we never thought we would have this relationship.
Right.
I mean, probably a great example would be you and Steph.
Oh, for sure.
But the Stephs.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you get to, that's part of camp. You get to experience that, and the more people you add to that picture, the more the better ability you have to gain relationships and see who's I don't quite connect there, but I do connect there.
Yeah.
But so continue with that.
So I am one of the preschool teachers here at LifePoint. So Mrs. Clark to everyone under the age of 18. And so I was in class, and it was before church started. This was 2 weeks after camp. And I had a teenager show up, and a young man, and he asked me if a certain child was in class.
Right.
And I said, he's not here yet, but I know he will be here soon. and I know which way he's coming from.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, so can I just go stand outside
and wait for
him?
Yeah.
And I just looked at him. I said, sure. And I had that question on my face. And he said, oh, I just really connected with him at camp. Yeah. And I wanted to see my buddy. And he called him his buddy. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, a teenage young man is like looking for a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And the impact that 3-year-old would have with a teenager outside waiting to greet him. So I am not kidding. On the exact same day, a young teenager came into my class, and she said, is so-and-so here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And she's like, well, I really connected with this little guy, at camp, and I haven't seen him or hugged him.
And I want to get a hug, yeah.
And she wanted a hug. And I'm like, he's not here yet, but his mom told me they were coming today. Right. I was just like filled with joy, because for me, that was everything.
Those were the tangible effects, results of what, namely family camp. Right. But again, the bigger picture of building strong families, having shared family experiences. And
you think about that in the classroom, I'm always teaching about Christ's love and Jesus being our friend and things like that. And to have these teenagers, they're seeing Christ in these teenagers, not just Mrs. Clark, the older teacher, or even mom and dad. There's someone cool, that's showing love to them.
Yeah.
So again, that's that connection too. You think about these two teenagers who are looking for the littles, like, when they graduate and move off to college, are they going to, still come here or be a part of our church?
Right.
They may move and be a part of another church, but maybe they better understand the connection, the power they have.
Right.
That
it's building blocks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm important to this generation behind me.
Right.
They're watching me.
Well, and that's, you bring that up, and that's, it's not just multi-generations, because you can have a church there's multi-generations in the church.
Right.
There's the kids and the teenagers and young adults, college, and then there's young
marrieds and families.
Yeah. And those are multi-generations in a church. But that doesn't mean they're together.
Right.
And so this is intergenerational ministry that happens. And so we're putting them together in the box.
Right.
Kind of. And shaking up and going, okay, let's see how this goes, because that's exactly how your family is at home.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, here you go. You're forced to be in this together, and you figure it out, and you learn things from each other as a family. And so that's the idea. Obviously, we're just a bigger family as the body of Christ. So
I think we should end. Are you willing to share with them what the theme is going to be for 2024 for camp? Are you?
Oh yeah, family camp.
Yeah, just get them ready for next April.
So well, and every year we plan. We use there's a team. So the Friedlines have
Jennifer and Daniel. There's no way we could do this without them.
No.
Never.
Well, I could do it without Daniel, but
never without Jennifer.
Jennifer and Daniel and their kids are beautiful. They have been with us, from the very first camp, helping us out. Daniel's wealth of knowledge and that kind of thing. And then, Jen's ability, her servant heart, her ability to...
And her ability to teach.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
So what has morphed over the years is now Daniel and Jennifer kind of giving more of the lessons, and not just... Some of it's survival kind of stuff and how to build a fire and that kind of thing, but it's the application of those things into spiritual practices in some way. So I love to see how Jennifer has kind of blossomed into that a little bit more into the family camp. Of course, we added some more team members, the Stouts.
That was, I got to tell you, watching them last year at camp, at 2023 camp, and be like they were just dating. And then, 2022. That's right. And then in 2023, here they were able to come as a married couple, kind of learn what we do behind the scenes and how crazy it can be for us behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think they got
they went,
first look at,
how do you do something like on the spot?
there's no
when something goes wrong.
There's no free time for us.
No free time.
For you're moving constantly to the next thing. The beauty is that we plan it all. We're weeks and months beforehand. We're getting everything in place, in purchasing all the things and getting it ready and food and all that, and then so you've got everything there. Kind of the hard work is done, but now you've got to implement it while right there. So it's just a constant go from the moment they first show
Brett
up.
and Zach, they did it.
Yeah,
they did it. But I can see just from them experiencing it this year. Now they'll, just like Jennifer and Daniel, they saw what we were doing. Right. They'll be able to take ownership and move forward and
I think it was kind of cool to see them, this unmarried couple, separate tents, and now they've got their own tent, there, and it was just sweet to see them also take on a little bit different roles in helping with some of the games, and of course not only just set up but even running something. Just go do it. You don't need us.
No, we didn't.
We'll get out of the way. So
right.
They were able
I like
to do
getting
that.
out of the way. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
You and I have always been of the philosophy working ourselves out of a job.
Yeah.
So anytime we can hand it over and someone else can take that vision and keep running with it.
Well, because some people would be scared of that. I got to work myself out of a job. The reality is there's so much more. There's other work to do.
Yeah,
still.
we have other ideas.
There's far more things.
Right.
Well, and case in point, that would be, would family camp ever move from tent to let's upgrade it, family camp, to hotel
And the
rooms?
answer is, are you ready? Never.
No. Now, we would add something
there
more.
We go.
But we would not morph it.
The importance of camping in tents with your family is a part of
the experience.
Yeah, experience, and we see value in it, so we'll never take away the tent camping.
Yeah.
We may add a family retreat, like that would be something we would give family a couple of years to save for. We would put it out in the future, maybe cancel camp that year. I don't know. We'd have to work it out with the families. I think they would freak out if we canceled camp on them. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, originally it was like, in April it's family camp. In tents, and then there's somewhere in the fall there's a family retreat concept, and you're at a facility, but there's, which is a different animal,
very much,
because your facility has Wi-Fi and all that. Even though we're gonna the idea is still disconnect, change your scene, but there's still all these amenities that are kind of add to it. Whereas I think the other part is some people, moms and dads, are scared to tent camp, and they're like, I don't know, I've never done it. I think that's the other advantage we didn't talk about. But,
that's true.
We did have one family.
If you have no experience, you go to family camp, because we feed you, we play.
We will give you experience.
It's great for single parent households, so that you've got other families taking care of you.
Right.
Yeah. So
and then and we had some single families who they went with us first time, and now they've been camping many more times after that.
They became comfortable with it.
Right. And so I think it's getting out of your comfort zone is the whole tent. You're hot.
Yeah.
All
you're
that
tired.
Yeah, hot and tired and all that kind of stuff. So that will never leave. You can't say never, but our goal is to not
as
to
long
remove
as
that.
you can I can still camp.
And then adding potentially a family retreat, whether that's in the same year or every 3 years.
A big something that they can save for,
but it's a retreat that year, and so it's just a different animal of some sort. But I think that's what our you wanted to kind of
I want to end with the theme for 2024.
Yeah, so we plan with actually
it was with Steph and Phil. So remember we after
do
all
we tell them even that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What? No, not the extra stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just the theme. I'm saying that we stayed with Steph and Phil. All the campers left, and Pastor Phil and his wife Stephanie, the four of us stayed overnight, basically
we go a night before so that we can obviously set up. But then it's kind of like
we get all the
decompression.
we get all the campers out. We then we have a nice dinner. We actually had it with the Freelines too, and then the Freelines went on home because the kids had school.
Right.
And then the four of us just stayed an additional night. We sat around the fire and we talked about what worked, where we can improve, and just things like that. And we went ahead and came up with a theme for next year. As we started talking, we actually made some plans, which we're not sharing any of the cool plans.
Yeah. There's some things surrounding the theme that actually will be fun.
Right. But our 2024 theme will be community with a focus on unity.
Unity, right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got some really great...
As in community, like this is your town kind of concept feel.
Yes.
So we'll be doing some things around that that theme that will be fun.
Yeah.
As we camp. So
I can't believe we've already we sketched down so many ideas and things, and I'm ready for next April to pop up.
Well, it's like daddy-daughter dance.
Oh,
we already have themes for like probably 2 or 3 years.
Oh, sure. That one's taken care of.
So yeah, that's a little bit about Building Strong Families. That's, of course, we've got Building Strong Families this Saturday, May 20th, 5 to 7 p.m. You register on the Church Center app.
Or on the website.
LifePointChurch.com.
And we need the registrations by Friday because, or actually Thursday night is the best time to have it in because we have a family that takes care of all the cooking.
Yeah, so let's Facklers.
Yes.
They have been cooking. Now they're buying and purchasing and
they're owning the food part
and owning that whole food side, which we love. They do a great job. And the idea is that we want to honor them by getting everyone in.
Yes.
So it helps us plan better when you register. When people register.
It helps them with planning. One, you don't want to cause them any extra undue stress, What
helps us with planning as well when we're thinking
it's
about.
It's also better. You're more wise with spending the money.
Right.
If we know how many are coming, then we know how to plan it, and she looks for deals and just all kinds of things.
Yeah.
It just makes it better.
So when you're planning to the idea is that just listen. It's 4 times a year.
Yes.
This year it may be more. Sometimes it's 6. Sometimes it's been 8. But it's 4 times this year. Just put it in your calendar and know that you're going. And as soon as the registration opens, just register. It helps us. And helps us be wiser with, like you said, monies and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this Saturday, May 20th, we're going to talk about boundaries. I'm kind of excited about this one.
Yeah, this is one of those ones you're like, I got this talked down.
So we're going to talk about boundaries, and we're really excited about Building Strong Families and next year's family camp.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good job, man.